Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video we are going to be making the drawers to go with the chemise that we made in the last video. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it up above and down below. So last night after I finished the chemise, I did get out the main pieces of the drawers, and as you can see I went ahead and this time I actually took the markings for the pin tucks off of the pattern, and just using some tailor's chalk, I did mark it out on the fabric itself. I've then pinned all 3 layers of the pin tucks onto both pieces, and I just need to get them sewn in place and ironed down. So iron is warming up and let's get sewing. And yes, I realized this probably would be immensely easier had I actually put the pins in the other way around. But I didn't, and so we are just going to deal with this the way it is, and hopefully the pins of death that are poking towards me won't actually stab me, and we'll survive all of this. So wish me luck. I was sewing pin tucks for a very long time. So, apparently my bobbin thread ran out way back here, right at the beginning. Fun. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to be repinning that last tuck and reloading my bobbin. Hey. So I have loaded up my bobbin, I've rethreaded my machine. Let's get this final tuck stitched into place. Did I mention that I was sewing pin tucks forever? Because I was sewing pin tucks forever. And it's done. So let that be a lesson to you kids. Always double check how much thread is left on your bobbin before you start sewing a seam. Now it's time to iron those pin tucks. I have noticed that it's a little wavy in spots, but nah, I'm not too worried about that. If this was an outer layer garment, I might want to fix it, make it sure it's more straight, but this is literally underwear. So yeah, I think we're gonna call it good enough and move on. Okay, so I have sewn up my side leg seam, and I have finished off the bottom hem, and I finished off my raw edges with my favorite historical method. I used my serger. Next is binding. So I am doing the open crotch style of drawers, which means I have to put bias tape along here. I did opt to use the self fabric method for doing this, Now this is a new technique for me. I've never done that before. I have to admit I did have to Google exactly what I was doing. The pattern did come with a strip to guide you for cutting out your bias lengths, which was great. However, I opted to try to use some of the scrap pieces to cut mine, so they weren't actually long enough. So I did have to attach 2 lengths together, which, like I said, I did have to Google how to do that because it is not something I've done before. I have in the past only ever used store-bought bias tape. And yes, my birds are wanting to have their share of the conversation today. So now I'm going to start pinning my lovely bias strip to the to the drawers. That's what I'm working on. Right. Wakey, wakey, Dee-Anne. I have not had my morning tea. My brain is not functioning. And then I've got a nice amount of leftover, and that will be cut off eventually. And then of course this top edge will be caught into the waistband. So I'm not worrying about folding it over or doing anything like that. So that is one piece of bias binding in place. So now I just need to stitch it and flip it over and stitch it again. Okay, so status update. Before I stopped sewing around 1:30 to have lunch, I got the binding finished along the top edge here. So this is the part that is open. Thoughts on self fabric binding? I'm not sure I would do it again for drawers. I like the effect. It looks really nice having that same fabric used for the binding. I found it really kind of fiddly to do. I'd say it's worth it for a garment where it's going to show, but this is literally going to be the bottom most layer of my undergarments. So you're literally never going to see this edge. Was it worth the fiddliness to do it on drawers? Maybe not. I'm glad I did it though, because now I understand the technique better, especially the technique of how to combine lengths and sew them together properly, which is not something I've ever had to think about or look into before. So I'm glad I had that opportunity and had a reason to learn that. It's definitely going to come in useful for future endeavors when maybe I want to finish off the edge of a neckline or something in self fabric bias on a dress where it's going to show. So before I stopped, I also went ahead and got out the waistband. Now I did choose to do the waistband style that does have a bit of a point to it rather than the perfectly straight one. And I went ahead and I have serged this one edge and the 2 ends. I haven't serged the other edge because I figure what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this raw edge as the one that actually attaches to the drawers, and then I'm going to serge it along with the drawers together as a single seam to finish that completely off. And then of course this top edge, which I have serged, this is the part that you fold it over and then it actually will be getting, well, I guess I should do it towards you. So it gets folded over 5/8, I think, and ironed, and then once it's the bottom, the other side is attached, this is the part that actually gets folded over to finish it. So yeah, so this one side I have already serged, and then the other side I will serge once I've attached it to the legs. So that's what I'm going to do next. After lunch, it is now almost 5 o'clock. Like I said, I sewed until about 1:30, then I stopped for lunch, and then I went out and ran a few errands. Literally the heavens have opened today where I live, so it is pouring rain, has been since about mid-morning. So I got very wet. So that was fun. So I'm home now, I'm dry, I've changed. But I think I'm going to have some supper first, then I will get sewing again. One thing I did get while I was on my errands though was a new buttonhole foot. So when I was doing the chemise, I discovered that the automatic buttonholer on my sewing machine, well, no, I shouldn't say that. The sewing machine part of it works just fine. The foot, on the other hand, not so much. So I stopped by the local sewing machine store, and I was able to pick up a replacement foot. So maybe we'll do buttonholes on the chemise tonight? Maybe. I don't know. Some of it might come down to how late it gets, because I want to finish the drawers. So I'm gonna get the drawers finished, and then depending on how late it is, I might try to get the buttonholes and the buttons done on the chemise. If I could, that would be fantastic, because then it means both these projects will be completed and I can move on to the next step, which is more undergarments. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do the corset cover next or the petticoat next, but it'll be more white on white sewing. Yay! So anyways, that is where we're at right now. Yeah, so I'm gonna have a quick bite of dinner and then we'll get back to sewing. So apparently all the video I filmed of completing the drawers has gone missing. Rest assured, I did indeed complete the drawers as well as the chemise, and enjoy this reveal video. So here's the complete, sorry Bessie. So here's the completed chemise and drawers. They are so comfortable. I am really glad that I took the time and money to order in linen to do these in. Yes, it's a wrinkled mess. And chances are it always will be, because yeah, I can't see myself ironing these all that much. But yeah, really comfy. Yeah, big baggy drawers. Yeah, no, they're really comfy. I could see myself wanting to lounge around in these, which isn't a bad thing. So yeah, no, I'm very happy with how these turned out. On one occasion, Mr. Pickwick put on a pair of spectacles without any glasses, rapped upon the table, hemmed, and having stared hard at Mr. Snodgrass, who was tilting back in his chair, till he arranged himself properly, began to read.